Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show, the show that is not for entertainment purposes. It's for us to learn and for us to share and become closer together. At least that's the purpose of it. When I created the show, it was called The People's Show, and it still is. However, we're going to make a few more clarifications as to what this show is about today, and we're going to go through that a little bit, probably a little bit later on. But let's see, we've got, I know we got Roxy in the chat. She's not feeling so great today. What's happening, Roxy? We love you, darling.
Love you, Roxy. I'm praying for you.
And yeah, y'all guys, you don't mind, say a little prayer for Roxy. She's I ain't gonna put her business on blast, but she's not feeling that good at the moment, so it never hurts to say hello to Father. So mention Roxy if you would, please. And we've got Shannon here with us with the
Hey guys,
Children of the Most High YouTube channel. And she put out a very deep video today, earlier today, and we're going to talk about that a little bit here in just a moment. We've also got Miss Kim here in the background. You probably see her popping in the chat as well. And we've got Super Dave and Mike Smith. Super Dave must have some kind of button on his phone where he knows when I hit live, it's like, bing, Super Dave is there. I don't know how he even gets here so quick. He's like the first person to leave a chat message instantly.
because he's supernatural.
He's Super Dave. There ain't no doubt. Super Dave. And Super Dave 44 YouTube channel as well. He does some awesome live shows as well where he dives into questions that people don't like to ask. Some people are afraid of talking about. Super Dave ain't afraid. He is Super Dave. And of course, Mike Smith. Yeah, I see Roxy Files is saying what's going on, bronchitis. Yeah. Yep. So, you know, it's one of those things where it kind of grabs you and it's like, don't want to let you breathe a little bit. One of those kind of things. I am hoping and praying that Roxy will be back to 100% here within a day or so, anyways. Here within a day or so. And because she's got things to do, I can promise you. That's one thing Roxy does is about 4 things at once. And if she can't do that, she ain't happy. Let's check in with Shannon first, because again, the Supernatural Show itself, this platform, I'm going to try to focus more on everybody else and less about me. Yeah, I'm the host, but this is supposed to be the People's Network, the People's Show. So when we have guests, and we're going to be opening the door more on a regular basis to have guests come on the show. That means you that's listening, and that means everybody. Like Super Dave, he already knows how to talk on a mic. He ain't afraid. And Mike might want to come on here, or any of you guys that are out there listening and you enjoy some of the things we talk about. You're going to be invited, like Joseph, you're invited to be on here. The only thing you need to remember in order to be a guest ultimately is one little inconvenience is you have to have headphones. Okay. You can get a set of headphones and just plug them into your phone or into your computer or whatever. And of course you have to have a mic, but if you're on your phone, you got a mic, but you need a headphone thing to plug in. You can get the kind that has the headphones and the mic built into it and plug it into your phone. You can do that as well. Whatever, but to be a guest on the Supernatural Show, you will need headphones because we run the studio. This studio is set up and functions in a professional, literally a professional manner. The software and all the things that we're using, as you can see on the screen right now, this is my monitor that is above me up here, and to my right there's a monitor over here That's another monitor. And then we've got the main studio monitor down here. All of these softwares, plus I have another laptop that's running the Rumble Studio, running Instagram, and running Patreon, the lives on that as well over there. That's off screen that you can't see. I technically could set it up so you could see it, but I figured I'd put the chat in there instead, so y'all guys, people get to see what y'all guys are saying as well, because this is the People's Show. Yeah, so this is a literal, legitimate full service, not service, full studio, the way we're doing it. And everything that you see that we're doing here, except for the electricity to run things and the internet, you have to pay for those. But all these softwares that I'm using here and down here, and some that are off screen, it's actually all free. And if anybody out there wants to learn how to do this kind of thing, I am available for questions, and I'm also available for hire as well, just so you're aware. Now, let's go and let's talk to Shannon about what she did live today, because I heard her live show today, and it's very deep, very dark in a way, very private, yet she decided to be brave enough to share something that she's been told her whole life, don't talk about. You can't mention this. And, you might say, call it peer pressure, whatever. And I'll let Shannon say what she wants to say about all that. But let's switch us back here, so that way we can see the chat and be able to talk with Shannon and everything at one time. Let's see, which one do I want to use? Let's use this one. Okay, here we go. So Shannon.
Yes. Hi.
What was the name of your video, your live that you did earlier today?
Well, technically, I did the live last night.
Okay.
This morning was a rebroadcast, but it was called Truth. The Untold Story of Johnny, Truth Unveiled, something along those lines. Yeah. So what I brought up was a very personal situation that had happened about 31 years ago. It was very impactful in my life, but it's all of these situations that you see all the time with the youth going around in schools, banging stuff. There's so much more to the situation when it comes to programming and trauma and what really happens to these children, these people, to really push them into these scenarios. And I grew up with my best friend pretty much my whole childhood. And at age 13, he snapped from abuse that he had received through many factions, those that he was taught to trust the most, the Catholic Church, school systems, all of these things, his father, all of that. So,
So do you mind if I give a little summarization?
Please do.
And stop me at any time, Shannon.
Okay.
So when Shannon was a child, she had a best childhood friend. And without Shannon's knowledge, this childhood friend was being abused in the worst ways. And they, and I'm not going to say anything you didn't say on your live, Shannon.
Oh, of course.
He was a really good boy, and he, like everybody else, had influences in his life, like television shows and music and all these things. Then it makes the child, they typically children will try to emulate what they see that they think is cool. Like I know a little boy that likes to be Spider-Man, and he's 13 years old, and he still likes to be Spider-Man. And because, children and even adults, especially young male adults and even women, will try to emulate things. And this young boy he was into what was the name of the show?
Well, it was a movie.
Movie.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, there's the whole aspect of programming.
Right.
We are aware of all these files that are coming out. It's out in the open that these factions do specific types of programming, so up all the way through childhood into adulthood, because they have an agenda for you and what it is that they want you to play out in their sick and twisted minds.
See, most of you guys listening did not grow up with the depth of this. You didn't grow up in a family where they had where your own family maybe even, or the people around you, had a plan for you. They all had plans for us. That's why they sent us to the Rockefeller education system. But some children, if they're born into the wrong place, the wrong time, the wrong family, or the wrong people around them, they can be chosen for other things in the future. Most of the time, bad. It might seem good because some of it might lead them to money, but ultimately bad things. And so when Shannon's talking about this, realize that you maybe didn't grow up like this exactly, but there are plenty of children that did and still do to this day and are stuck in these things, in these situations right now. Wouldn't you say, Shannon?
So, for example, both Johnny's father was Italian and my mother was Italian. So we bonded on that when we were little because we thought it was cool. But on his end, he was really into like the Godfather type mafia stuff. Would actually like dress up when he was really little in suits all the time that made him feel like a mafioso guy, and he just really thought it was super cool.
And we've all done that.
Right. So later on, I mean, he went through several phases like we all do. I mean, I'd say in 6th and 7th grade, he was more into the alternative skater boy thing, but he was, into golf for years. Like, he was a golf genius, which is another program they were really focused on, like a Tiger Woods type thing. And we all know how Tiger Woods kind of ended up off the deep end there for a little bit. If you know what direction I'm going with.
His program broke a little bit.
Yeah, those combos. Well, no, it's like, it's a fail safe, if that makes sense. If you are out of line in their agenda, or you are not doing something you're supposed to do, it is a fail-safe trigger in your programming to go off the rails. You see this in many celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the most famous ones was, just in my mind, I mean, like Britney Spears seemed like she went through that.
Exactly. That's one of the, it's a really good example. Or, I mean, think about, oh gosh. Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But anyways, this stuff was put in place through trauma. They're alters, they're types of personalities. And in a lot of these religious factions, it's not just the Catholic Church. I am not just speaking out on the Catholic Church. This is in many organized religions across the board.
Yep.
And that on top of just all the stuff that we had been put through in our different things, it really pushed Johnny. But there was extra push because he was starting to say things. He was trying to speak out about his abuse because he was done.
Oh, somebody would help him.
Right. And instead found that he was told he was a liar. If he would ever speak out to anybody about this, no one would believe him. He would be expelled. All of these things, knowing that he's already been having problems with the behavior that they helped to push, you know? They knew that it would be his last resort to try to keep him quiet. This is how they intimidate us all the time, with the fear. That fear that if you speak out, no one's going to believe you and bad things are going to happen to you. This is why children don't speak out. They're terrified. And a lot of the times they're threatening their parents' lives or things along those lines. So, you know, and in Johnny's case, it triggered stuff. He was already obsessing over a specific film. I'm trying to find the name of it. I think it's American Me. American Me. American Me. And it's a pretty hardcore gangster movie glorifying this. But it's interesting because that film became his excuse to go and do what he did, to leave the house. And he even expressed that to Cliff, this person that was in our lives in fourth grade through the daycare program at school, who then became a cop and was very obsessed over me and Johnny, and became even more and more obsessed over Johnny over the years after we got past fourth grade and he became a cop. And it just a lot of weird things. And he was actually the last person to see him before this incident took place. And what happened, guys, I'm just going to be straight up, okay? My friend, he had been abused by Father Joseph Felker. This man is deceased. I am not afraid to speak his name, but I do hope that if anybody in this area knows who he is, I hope this information helps you, because I know he's been in a lot of people's homes for dinners and a lot of stuff over the years.
Yeah.
But he had been abused for many years with this man, but been forced to be put into the school where he would see him every day instead of just Sundays. And it pushed him really hard into very bad behavior, even more so than before, but was constantly being harassed. So he tried to go to the principal, who had been harassing him already, putting him down, trying to break his spirit already, because he already knew. But he tried to speak out against this priest and was told again that, no, you're a liar, you're going to be expelled, no one's going to believe you. So Johnny already had planned out and spoken to many friends that he was planning on shooting. And yes, I said it, I'm sorry, but doing that to the principal. And so he ended up going back home, getting his golf clubs, putting that sawed-off
And
shotgun.
he found no help. Nobody to say, what's going on here? We need to...
Nobody believed him. I was supposed to see him the night before, and I sure as heck would have told on him. I would have.
And he was 13 years old.
He was 13 years old. And he ends up shooting Mr. Fasciola. I'm sorry. I hope this does not...
It's okay.
Whatever. But I have to be honest. I have to say it. And Mr. Fasciola survived. I just want to make that clear. He did not pass on, not until 2012 from a heart attack. So it was a natural death. But when he did that action, he did not realize, but there was a whole classroom of kindergartners who witnessed it. And it just, he ran and took his own life, realizing what he had done, because this child would never have done anything like that in life if he had not been pushed to this. He protected me all throughout childhood. He had a heart of gold.
Yeah.
And what spiraled from that was absolute chaos. I mean, the priest tried to have his mother arrested because he thought she knew and was going to attack him. And she just was trying to get counsel from him because she was in grief. It was an absolute whirlwind nightmare. And they squashed that story just as fast as they let it out.
And the people that knew about it were told what?
What do you
meaning
mean?
Like you, or people that knew the truth of what happened and what was going on and why the little boy did this, why Johnny did this. They were told to...
I was told, because I'm the one who knew. We both suffered abuse through these things. I knew. So I tried to speak out about it privately, through family, and was, told to be silent for the protection of his family. And as much as I understand that, it has been absolute torture keeping this silent, because I just know if I were his mother, and I know my mother would feel the same, which kind of makes me have a hard time with this. Excuse me, but if it were me, I would want to know the truth of what happened to my son and what pushed him.
And not only that, see, there's a cyclical system that's going on that allows for these kind of things to happen. Because I asked Shannon earlier, and we were talking about it, I said, what do you reckon happened to the priest when he was a child? What do you think was going on with him? What turned him into a predator? Exactly. What do you think happened to the police officer that was going on when he was a child to turn him into a potential predator?
Oh my gosh, you could tell he was just all kinds of messed up. Mm-hmm. That poor guy. I mean, his brother was on the Dolphins football team. Mm-hmm. So, the family is in it to win it kind of thing.
Big money. Not always, I can't say, but big money tends to corrupt, and it tends to force you into that. Like, take for instance a lot of YouTubers. There are a lot of YouTubers that, as they start to get popular, they get noticed, and then they have to convert. if they want to continue to be have a bigger channel, and get rich and famous and all this, they have to join a club.
Prime example, Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast,
Who is
Cletus McFarland, another guy.
Well, Mr. Beast actually came out saying he's partnered with the Rockefellers. So, I mean, that's like, you can't get any higher than that. I'm sorry, but as he throws out just millions of dollars to people, like, here's a water. It's like, wait, what? Where are you getting all this cash, yo? It's
because he's a chosen one. Now, there's a price for Mr. Beast, though, that we're not going to hear about. We may never hear about, or we may. There's a price that he's going to have to pay, because they do not, and it isn't even they as much as it is their God, requires blood, requires things that are of the greatest sins that you have to either participate in, contribute to, things like this. Now, when it comes to YouTubers, you have to watch their hands. Is the best way to notice them. You'll notice they'll start making pyramids with their hands. A lot of times it's very obvious, like with Mr. Beast, or because he's very obvious about it. He puts his hands together, thumbs together, and tips of his fingers together, just like a lot of politicians, and because they're all part of the same club, okay? Or sometimes if they're under deep cover, they'll have their hands just below the screen, and their two thumbs will be sticking up like a small pyramid. They do that if they're deep undercover. That would be Tom McDonald, music dude, type of deep cover, because he plays the role of that he's an artist that's completely for the people and for truth, and he's exposing, but what he's doing is he's weaponizing the truth. And he'll show it, and his girlfriend's name is Rockefeller. It's, what's her first name? I can't remember her first name, but her last name is Rockefeller. And he's just obviously sold out, and his role is to weaponize truth through music. So I guess how we got into this little bit of a conversation is saying it's very widespread. And in order to have these great successes, even to be a priest at a Catholic church, or even to be any kind of high position where you have authority or fame, there's a price. You will not be allowed, for instance, the Supernatural show. This show is so suppressed that with 250,000 subscribers, when we go live, we'll have 50 to 100 people here. And no videos are going to get more than a few thousand views, because they don't like real truth, and you're not controlled, and you're on their platform. You're playing with their toys, and they don't like it. Therefore, over time, they have continued to suppress and to suppress and to suppress. And you either convert and sell out or not. And if it's or not, you're going to suffer. In one way or another, most of the time in multiple ways, you're going to suffer. And it sounds like little Johnny was trying to rebel and get away from what was happening, and he was looking for help and found none at all.
There are three main reasons that I brought up his story yesterday and this morning. The number one reason is I really felt it was absolutely important for his name to be cleared of all of the titles they put upon him, and for those people to understand that there is so much more behind these acts of violence perpetrated by young people, especially children. You are not a 13-year-old who is born throughout your childhood thinking, I'm going to be a gangster, you know? I'm going to do these things. I'm going to hurt people. And I can truly tell you, it wasn't until a good year prior to the situation that behavioral stuff became a thing. So it had escalated. And also to bring peace to our family, to let those know that these children are beautiful God, beautiful children of God. And this evil is breaking the children, trying to take the innocence, to create broken adults, and to continue these cycles. Which brings me to the second reason I brought it up. In light of all of these things happening, in light of all of these files coming out and people really starting to see the truth behind the spiritual battle, I implore you all to heed my warning and not to follow suit in violence, because this is the agenda. They would not release these things unless they wanted you to know. And that is part of their ritual. So you take it to God. You give forgiveness, because again, these are cyclical things. And what happened to these people as children to put them in this, to open these doors to this evil? But you need to give forgiveness, and you need to give it unto God, the Most High, because He is the judge. Only God can judge. But the most important thing is to say no and to stop allowing our children to go into these hands. Now that we know, it's saying no.
Yeah.
It's saying no.
And if you've got a young child out there, I mean, you've got to make your own decisions. But if you've got a child and you're considering putting them into the Rockefeller education system, you need to really realize what you're doing. You think you're getting a free babysitter, maybe. Maybe you think you're helping your child, giving them a good education.
Well,
but it's not as simple as that.
We were all programmed to believe that is what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even for a while there, when my kids were little, there was that whole law that if they didn't show up, on time or certain amount of days, the parents could literally go to jail for this.
Mm-hmm. Once you enroll them, they'll try to do that kind of stuff. It
is a bullying method, and it's like your child will never succeed if they don't graduate from these, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. It's a fear tactic, indoctrination, just cyclical thing, which again brings to that third point, is you have to start recognizing the cyclical patterns and realizing that we have all been born into this system. We have all been MK'd. We've all been through these things. And we got to recognize the root of the problem, mm-hmm. and to start seeing the fruits of what these establishments are producing. So if you are a part of any of these systems and do not understand the fruits that are coming from it, and you are blinded by that, it is time to unveil your eyes so you see that this is it's a cyclical battle that you have to make a choice with. You have to decide which master you choose, because you cannot serve two masters.
And I would say, don't hand your babes, your children, don't throw your pearls, don't hand your children over to devils and demons. Okay, now you got to make your own decisions. I'm not your boss, and I'm not telling you for sure what to do. This is my opinion. A child under the age of, I don't know, no child should have a cell phone. No child should have access to the internet unless it is extremely guarded. Extremely. No child. These are weapons. You don't think a cell phone is a weapon, but it is. I've seen it in a child locally to me that I know personally, that I've spent a little time with. Though this weapon has caused this child to do some of the most horrible things. Not only that, television, even cartoons. They're too slick. They're weapons. They're teaching your child violence and breaking their care about seeing other things get hurt. You say, oh, it's just a cartoon. No, it's not. They're all designed as weapons, and you cannot give your children over to these things. We all were. But we've got to stop at some point. We've got to change. And if my voice and Shannon's testimony can save one child, that's enough. I mean, I want more, of course, but just one. If we can help that much, that would be an absolute miracle. Because we've got to stop giving our children over to the beast. Literally, is where it is.
Now, here, I understand that we are saturated with this everywhere. And I understand how absolutely difficult it is to shield your children from everything, because you are not around them 24/7. There are times that they have to go out in the world. So my suggestion to you is to educate them. Educate them on choice. Tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth.
Educate them on choice.
When they're old enough to understand
when they're old enough, but even when they're little, I've said before, I used to make certain things into a game so they could get things into their consciousness, but in a way that wasn't traumatizing to them, and to help them to understand that these things are bad, but not in a scary way, in a way where they felt comfortable with that knowledge and empowered to make a choice. So this is where your protection of your children come from, since it is literally saturated in every single thing. And trust me, it's like you let them go to grandparents' houses, and it's like it's there. It's almost impossible to shield them from it completely. And I completely understand that. This is why you got to educate them.
When I was a child, there were close to a half a dozen different people that sexually abused me. And my mom or anyone that was close to me never knew. My mom, to this day, she's been gone now for many years, but she never knew that this was going on. It's when you leave your child with people you think, or other children even, that you think are safe, because they act normal and safe. But if that other child, or maybe that child's a little bit older, if they're being abused, they may turn and abuse another child.
Yes.
And I mean, I remember from age 3 being abused. And I'm not going to say the names of the people, because I suspect they were being abused or had been abused, because that's typically how this happens. And I forgive them for the things that they did. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I remember when I was 3, I didn't even understand it at all. But later on, when I was like 5 and 6, when it was happening with someone else, I felt like I had done something wrong and that I was going to get in trouble. I remember being 6 years old thinking I was going to get pregnant. I remember thinking for a month that I was going to be pregnant because I was that ignorant, because nobody don't talk to children and tell them anything. At least where I grew up, we didn't get told anything. I'm thinking I'm going to be pregnant, and I'm a little boy, and there was actually not any penetration, but because it was a sexual act, I thought I was going to be pregnant. And I don't know, I think I just finally forgot about it or something, but I remember thinking that. And I didn't know, I thought anybody that I would tell would get mad at me because I had participated in something that I kind of felt was wrong. And I say I participated, I was just, the younger you are, the more just straight out victim you are. When you're older, you tend to get manipulated into situations by people who act like they're your friends or things like that. And I don't know, I don't know exactly, because I'm still disturbed by it to this day. But don't leave your children with other people. I hate to say it, because if it can happen to me, and I know it's happened to Shannon, it can happen to anyone's children. And we have to break this cycle.
Exactly.
I've heard some people say, well, that happens in every family and nobody just talks about it. If we were all talking about it, it should stop. Because no child should have to go through this as a 3-year-old, as a 6-year-old, as a 10-year-old, as a 13-year-old. No child should have to go through this. It messes up the child's view. And then you don't have any adult that's telling you the truth about the sexual nature of the world. All you end up seeing is you're handed a Playboy magazine, like I was when I was a child, or all the sexual images in just regular magazines, and all the sexual images on television, and even in music, especially today with music videos. And it's all meant to corrupt the most innocent, because that's what the enemy wants. That's what Satan himself wants, is he wants to corrupt God's seed. He wants to destroy. And we do have the choice not to allow our children to go into these things. So please, if you have children out there, and if you have daughters and sons that are older, talk to them. Make sure they know so they don't leave their children with the wrong people. And the wrong people may be Uncle so-and-so, or Aunt so-and-so, or Cousin Billy. It could be anybody, especially if the people that they're leaving them with are older than them. It's just so rampant in society right now that it has got, the only way to stop this is education and action, meaning don't allow your child in situations where you don't know for sure that they're safe. I mean, even in elementary school, there are things that go on that are, for me anyways, I remember there are things that go on that are totally inappropriate. It's in gym class. I mean, like when the gym teacher's in there staring at you while you're changing clothes and perving off of you. And it's the gym teacher. It's like, why is the gym teacher in the shower staring at the little boys? And I would imagine it goes on too with little girls, and it's a woman. So it's like, oh, well, it's just the gym teacher making sure we take a shower. No, not appropriate. Not when it's not the child's mother or father. And then even that sometimes can go sideways. Even mother and fathers can abuse their own children because they were abused and they got their mind twisted, and the cycle continues. So we've got to stop these cycles.
First off, Daniel, I really want to thank you for being bold and brave right now and talking about your experience.
Yeah,
I've
never mentioned that online, I don't think.
I am just absolutely blown away right now with your boldness.
You were brave
and
enough to do it, so I need to be brave enough to tell the truth too.
I think it's so important that we all start to face these things, because I know we're not the only ones of us who have gone through these things, and we need to heal, and we need to let people know, because there seems to be a stigma that only little girls or women are abused. And let me tell you, the amount of boys and men who are abused is absolutely just mind-blowing. So you all need to start thinking about, it's a child that they're after, not it is your soul. They are planting in altars. They are trying to demonically charge you in these abuses. It's a very just dark road, and I just implore you all to start thinking about your little boys too, okay? Not just the little girls. They're just as
your little boys are in danger, I can promise you. The little girls are in danger too, but the little boys are definitely in danger. I can speak the truth to that, I know for sure.
In Aleister Crowley's work, he believed that the highest powerful sacrifice involved a young boy and terrible things. That should tell you. So this is the amount that they don't talk about. And you wonder why the world is so confused on so many levels. This is a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, guys, if you would like to hear Shannon's entire story about little Johnny and the terrible situation he went through, it's on Shannon's channel, and I watched it earlier when she was live, and there's quite a bit more to it. If you want to hear the whole thing, go over to Shannon's channel. It's called Children of the Most High. Children of the Most High. And it's the most recent live video on there. And you
can find it on the Roxy Files too, because I'm just gonna say
that
the Roxy Files and Children of the Most High belong to both me and Roxy. Just so you all know, we are besties forever. Yeah. We're a team. So
yeah, that is true. We're all a team, and that includes y'all guys that are here in the comments, Mike Smith and Carol and Friends Forever and Super Dave and Daryl and over there 5724, Wayne the Pain, Jason Brain, all y'all guys. We love you, and we know you understand, and we also know you went through some of these things. So try to educate the younger people around you, your daughters, your sons. Just to tell them you got something serious you want to talk to them about. And
now is the perfect timing, because all of these things coming out. And let me tell you, I hear all the time from my son, who's in high school, that this is a topic of conversation among all classmates. So they're waking up to these things. Now is the time to really help them to understand what all this means.
Yep, it is. So I named the name of the show today, The Future of the Supernatural Show, and I explained a little bit earlier that, well, because of the suppression that exists, and I know you're listening, so you say, well, it wasn't suppressed to me. But trust me, I've been doing this for 16 years, only doing this for 16, and the suppression has gotten to the point where I cannot survive only in doing this. However, I've told y'all guys before, I'm no quitter, so we're not going to quit. But we are going to, for now, and I'll explain why, we're going to reduce the Supernatural show to 1 day a week. The Supernatural show is going to focus mainly on everyone else, including you guys. We're going to be sharing links where you can be a guest on the show. Understand, to be a guest on the show, you'll be audio only, and you will need a set of headphones, either headphones and mic combination, or at least a set of headphones to plug into your cell phone or into your computer. Okay, and you need, if you're on a computer, you need a mic too. So keep that in mind. Headphones are a requirement because the software that we're using is professional level, and yeah, so there is that. I'm having to take on some side work that's related to the skills that I have, such as, like I've shown y'all guys, I am running right now. You can see you can see 3 of my monitors. You can see the monitor up above. You can see the monitor over to the right. This is where all my guests come in, and I can control their audio and their video and all kinds of different things over here. And then down here below, this window down here, this window is the window where it's called OBS Studio, and it's the window where I control the audio and video that ultimately y'all guys see and hear. And then I've got a laptop over to the side over here that's running several other things. So I'm having to take on some work on the side, and I can't do that when I'm focusing 100% of my time on this work in this show and the Logic Before Authority show. However, I won't be quitting. I've got to try to survive. And it's not y'all guys' fault that I'm having to do this. Y'all guys are the only reason I've been able to survive so long, to be able to do this for 16 years. But there's the suppression they're like a constrictor. Once they get on you, they start tightening and tightening and tightening and tightening. And yeah, we're still working on ways to fight around it, but I've got to be able to do something that can keep my lights on, keep food in the refrigerator, maybe be able to fix a car when it needs to be fixed, so we have some kind of transportation. Fix a leak that's in the roof right now that I can't seem to get fixed. Things. I've unplugged myself from everything I possibly can, cut all expenses, like all this studio software and everything. I have figured out how to put all this stuff together and make it work together so that I don't have to spend any money on any of it. The website, for instance, it does cost me $150 a month. And I'm pondering right now whether I can afford to keep that website up, because I can't afford $150 a month. The Supernatural Show website. I put 2.5 years into the building and development of that website, and if I take it down, it's just gone. I don't want to do that, but I also need to eat, and I also need to stop making Miss Kim suffer as much as I've made her suffer. Because like Christmas time, we don't celebrate Christmas, but I wanted to get her something for Christmas, and I couldn't even get her a Christmas present. That kind of sucks. And so I got to do something. And I still owe her. I promised her that I would one day. And she hasn't said anything, and she won't. She's such a wonderful wife. But I've got to do some things, guys, and I hope you understand. And I hope you keep supporting my work, because the more you support it, the less I'll have to do on the side. But I've got to do some things. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm leaving tomorrow morning to go to a client's place. I'm going to be there about 2 or 3 days, and doing some things that they want done. They've got some goals and dreams in life, and so I'm going to be building a couple of websites. I'm going to be possibly doing some remote studio work where I can help people do a show, and but them not have to understand how to use all this stuff, because for some people it would be impossible, but I was able to figure it out. I have the passion and the drive to not quit. And so I figured those things out. I know how to edit video Hollywood level. I know how to run a studio remotely, like a straight up legitimate studio for live shows. I'm live on 13 platforms right now. 13 different places where my video is streaming to. But I just wanted to be honest with y'all guys and let you know what I'm going through, what I've got to do, because I can't just keep screaming out to the small little audience that we've still got for y'all guys to send me money all the time, because y'all guys are suffering too. And people get tired of that stuff. And I'm sorry I've had to ask so many times, and I'm trying not to ask. But I do appreciate your support. With that, please go over and if you'd like to hear more about Johnny's story, go over and check out Children of the Most High on YouTube. It's been dropped in the comments a couple times. And on Shannon's channel and on Roxy's channel, which is the Roxy Files. Shannon's channel is Children of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Roxy's channel is the Roxy Files. So with that, I've got to get things together, lined up so I can leave here tomorrow morning. I've got to go out of town in a car that won't crank unless I jump it off. But without effort, I don't stand a chance to get things straight. So I've got to push double hard and just do what I got to do. Sometimes a man's got to do what he's got to do. And that's where we're at. But we will continue. And if I can, I'll keep the website. We'll see. Anyways, thank you, Shannon, for being here today and telling a really personal event that happened to you as a child. And y'all guys, please protect your children and go to your children and help them know how to protect your grandchildren, because they don't know, because the people don't talk about this stuff. You got to be brave enough to talk to your children about this, even if they're 30 or 40 years old. They've got children and grandchildren. Reach down that family tree and protect those babies.
Yep.
All
And
right.
here's a word of encouragement before we all leave. Just remember that there are many names written in the book of life, and so many of us are in that book of life. It is our names written on there. We carry that seal of the Most High. And chances are, if you're here watching us and content like this, then you have that seal upon your forehead. So take that and keep in prayer, keep your armor on, and know that blessings are coming your way. Even if it isn't here on this earth, we get an eternity with God.
Yep. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Roxy. Hope you're feeling better by tomorrow, darling. Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you, Super Dave. Thank you, Mike. Love you guys. And I'm not sure when I'll be doing my next live show, but I'll do it as soon as I can. Okay, guys? I love you, and we'll see you next time here on the Supernatural Show. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.